discussers. Welcome to Finland. Well, virtual Finland. And being Finland, see, and it's sort of still sort of a bit winterish, isn't it? We need something nice and hearty, so we're going to have a traditional Finnish soup or chowder. Now, wouldn't say it necessarily goes with a stout. And by the way, this is one of my favourite Tiny Rebel glasses. This is not Tiny Rebel. That is a sore point. Falling out with them at the moment. They've currently discontinued Stay Puffed. Not acceptable. I'm not buying any more Tiny Rebel till that's back on the back on the order. Sea Goblin Stout. Anyway, we're going to make a traditional Finnish salmon soup, Lohikeitto. Now, I'll practice this, now I can't bloody say it. Something like Lohikeitto. Salmon soup. So, this soup, salmon soup, or a creamy salmon soup, so it's got salmon in it. Now, there are slight variations on it, but it's very simple, and this is much more of a basic traditional one. But some of them do use like scraps of salmon, so that you might have used for something else. You've got your trimmings, as well as some actual bits of salmon. So we've got some salmon ready to go. They're not scraps. Got the wife to buy these. And then basically it's going to be a fish stock. I've got a litre of fish stock, a couple of large carrots, a couple of leeks, about 450 grams of potatoes, 60 grams of butter, 230 grams of double cream. Oops, she didn't send that to me. The wife will now go, I can't eat that, it's got too much fat in it. Well, she bought double cream, serves her right, she'd have bought no fat one. Oh, and then, which I believe is a traditional Finnish herb, if you like, dill. And that's all there is to it. So we're going to start by peeling our carrots and then sort of cutting that up into sort of like cubes or whatever. It's quite a quick and easy dish to make. But we obviously want everything to sort of cook at the sort of same time. So with the veg, you know, we have to think about the size. Use that joke once already tonight. Not on here. You wouldn't know that one. Been to Finland twice. In fact, I was almost in Russia. Went photographing bears. And it literally was almost on the border with Russia. So actually the bears that we were photographing may well have been Russian bears, Russian brown bears, because obviously the borders mean bugger all to them. Right, we'll get rid of my peelings and then we'll sort of dice our carrot. So what I'm doing with my carrot, I'm basically cutting the lengths into quarters and then sort of cutting it up reasonable sized chunks. We want a bit of chunkiness to it. Pardon me. I told you I've been to Finland. Can't say I had this dish. We certainly had some of the sort of traditional sort of local breads, if you like. But I'm not sure that we had any real traditional dishes. Right, now with your leek, we're going to remove the green bits because they can be a bit like bitterish, if you like. We don't want that. And they quite often are quite dirty, you know, when you peel off these outer layers. And so what we'll do is, after we've chopped these up, we will give them a bit of a rinse. But all we're going to do with our leeks is I'm going to slice them in half like that, and then just chop them up. Just like that. So I've peeled the potatoes. Puppy. I'm going to put it on that one there, even though it blocks what I'm doing, but you ain't going to see much more anyway. Before I dice my potatoes, I'm going to get about 60 grams of butter. About 60 grams of butter, which is about that much. Okay, and we're going to get that melting down, and then we're going to cook off our leeks in there on a lowish to medium heat for about 5 to 6 minutes. Now, we are getting them in, cooking them longer, because we're going to add the stock and the potatoes and everything else. So, I've got enough room here to cut my potatoes up. So I'm going to cut my potatoes up similar size to my carrots. Okay. We had a load of these smaller potatoes. So when I said to my wife, get me a couple of nice large, like Maris Pipers or something like that. Well, we got all them potatoes. Can't you use them? All right, boss. Whatever you say, boss. We'll use them. Hence, we're using them. So, like I say, you just want them sort of chunked roughly the same size as your other bits of veg. Should have come a bit better prepared really, because I can't tell you bugger all else about this soup. This is it. There's no sort of like traditions with it. Well, if there is, I couldn't find anything about it. There's no traditions about it. There's no sort of special occasions when you eat it. Just one of them things. Could have told you a bit more about Finland. Have an excellent education system. Used to know a bit more about it, but I can't remember now. Anyway, that's about it. So I'm just going to finish dicing these potatoes. Got one more big one to do. Might have to get onto my fourth bit, second bit. Well, it's the wife's fault. She spent so bloody long getting ready. I'm not quite ready to go in the bath yet. And then she was, oh, and then I've got to wash my hair, and then I'll have to dry it. Before that, I've got to go and do so. Hence, might be on a few beers before I even watch that noise. Never mind. Who cares? But it's not Tiny Rebel. Don't talk about them. Right, so that butter's melted. So in goes that nicely chopped and washed leek. And like I say, we're now just going to essentially cook that on about a low to medium for about 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes. Oh, I'm going to put time on. Why not? So with your stock, like I said, you want about 1 litre of fish stock. Obviously it's a soup. I'm using little stock pots, and it says on there you can just chuck them in. Well, it won't be much of a soup if I just chuck 2 stock pots in. So it basically said otherwise you had 1 stock pot per 500 ml. So I've got 2 stock pots in there. Must remember buy some more. Buy some more. Just killing time now while we cook these. I'm going to school reunion dinner. They do one. My old school, they'd have an annual supper. Never been. But it's their 475th anniversary of its founding. So they're making a bit of a bigger deal about it. 475, I know it's a bloody long time, It's a bit of an odd number really, isn't it, to say let's celebrate it. Probably just a bit of money spinner, isn't it? But anyway, I'm getting to meet one of my famous friends. Let's see if he watches this when I put this up on Facebook. I do have some famous friends. Well, actually, I've got one famous friend. And he is proper famous. So I sort of keep in touch with him, but I haven't met him since school days. I'm going to meet him tomorrow night. Anyway, I digress. So I'm just going to give this the occasional stir with my Guzzling Gourmet wooden spoon until that timer goes off. And then we'll be putting the rest of the veg and the stock in, and then I'm going to chop my dill. You need your dill chopped, don't you? Oh dear, this beer's going down well. Better not go down too well, I've only got one more bottle left. Okie doke, so that's had 6 minutes. So now we're going to chuck the carrot. Why not, could use? If the bloody door open properly. I saw someone doing this the other day. Use my scraper, my dough scraper. Look at that. Probably all going to miss the bin. Probably going to miss me saucepan there. Certainly a lot quicker. Get in there. Now we're going to chuck that in there, and then the only thing I noticed about these stock pots, by the way, is they don't really break up that much. So you end up with like it not all in there. And also this jug don't pour nicely, that's why I'm back to make sure it's in the bin. See what I mean? Look at that. No matter how much I swilled that round, everything else, that bugger is still not all broken up. So now, oops, we're now just going to bring this to the boil, and then we're going to simmer it for about 15 minutes. So while we're waiting on that, I'm just going to sort of roughly chop my dill. This is making 4 portions, the soup is, the whole thing is, alright. So the amount of dill I've got there is really for 4 bowls worth. That's not a name of a person. 4 bowls worth. Sounds a bit posh, doesn't it? Oh, hello there, 4 bowls worth. How are you? Things must be getting desperate. I'm making jokes about shite, aren't I? Anyway, that's that done. So now I can, in a minute, get on to chunking up my salmon. Chunky salmon. So I've got the salmon. It's got skin on. And I'm cutting it into fairly large-ish chunks. There you go, here's an example. Okay, example of salmon in chunks, not an example of the DJ, musician, or whatever you want to call him. Also seen him twice. I think the first time was better than the second time. But with the second time we actually saw him in concert. The first time it was a festival. Second time we saw him in concert, and he had about like 8 or 9 support acts. He's apparently very good at like helping promote up and coming bands and things. And like I say, it was like, we come here to share an example, or we come here to see about a whole bloody festival of people. I think he was better at the festival though, when he finally came on. But anyway, the wife wanted to see him. She's into that. Not really me. Still waiting for this to come up to the boil. So, like I say, once this comes up to the boil, whack the timer on 15 minutes, and then we'll be ready to cook our salmon and our cream. And that's it really. Nothing else to say. That's unusual. Right, that's been boiling away for 15 minutes. And somehow, I'm not going to bother to move my camera, but the wooden spoon that I left on there like that has ended up over there on the bloody floor. How the fucking hell's it done that? So, I'll just pick that up and put that in the bloody wash thing, shall I? Piece of shit. So, I'm going to turn the heat down nice and low. And now we're going to add in that salmon. Now, we're going to cook this for, if it let me pick it up, for about 5 minutes. Along with the cream in a second. Essentially, you cook it until you're happy that the salmon is cooked. So in that goes. In goes that cream. Someone mentioned, worked it out, that apparently it equates to about 500 calories a minute. It's alright, the wife don't count calories. It sins. She goes to Slimming World. Fat Club, don't say Fat Club. Not allowed to say Fat Club. Not allowed to use the F word. So, like I say, we're just going to stir that in. I mean, I'm presuming it's got the skin on, because it literally said you can use the scraps that you've trimmed, you know, the trimmings, if you like, plus some extra. So, I better leave the spoon in there this time, in case it magically jumps all the way across the fucking kitchen again. So, like I say, I'm now just going to cook that for about 5 minutes. Might give it a few minutes longer, because obviously that cold salmon going in there has knocked the temperature down. I'm almost out of beer, and it's not tiny roll. We don't talk about tiny roll bastards. All they said was when I made a moan, and I said, how can you get rid of my favourite beer? They said, never mind, just watch this space. Who knows? Don't give a fuck whether it's coming back. We should never take it off the first place, you bastards. Right, so that's had 6 odd minutes or so. So let's get it served up. I'll see what it's like. So it's quite a chunky soup, chowder. Okay, so we'll just get some of the old salmon. Well, it's obviously quite a, you know, there's nothing in there really to thicken it. So it's quite a watery soup. It says having spilt it down the side. Ooh. What I forgot to do was season it. What we should have done is give it a little bit of seasoning, a bit of salt, a bit of freshly ground pepper, and then, oh, pardon me, excuse me, that's the beer talking. We give it a little sprinkle of the old dill. So let's give it a go. A bit of carrot. Carrot's still nice and sort of crunchy-ish. Got a nice bite to it, it's not too hard. A bit of potato in here and a bit of leek. Leek should be well cooked. Potato's softer, and there's a bit of the salmon. That was hot. Flakes apart in your mouth. Just about cooked right. Not overcooked, not undercooked. Nice and creamy. It's just a basic, apart from obviously having cream in it, just a basic chowder using carrots, leeks and potatoes, and then, like I say, you know, sort of like the salmon trimmings. Lohikeitto, or something like that anyway. Finnish salmon soup. Might have a bit more of that. Very nice.